The Patriots lose this one against the Bills 33-21 at home in Foxborough. Now the Patriots drop to 9-6 on the season. Let's take a look at the AFC standings. The Bills win, which means they're first in the AFC East, and they control their own destiny. Patriots loss now means they're in the wild card mix. And not a great result for this Patriots team. Michael Holley, Tommy Curran, Amina Smith here with you. We knew that this was going to be a battle between the Patriots and the Bills. We knew that it would go back and forth, and I'm kind of upset that I didn't go with my gut. Pick the Bills on this one because I'm sliding down the leaderboard. However, Holley, your biggest takeaway from this game?
It was a lack of control. You talk about it was a battle. It was going to be a battle for the AFC East lead for one of these teams, but I thought the entire time it was, could the Patriots reestablish or, continue the control that they showed everybody they could have in Western New York in Week 13? They dictated the terms of that game, as we know, 46 runs. And Buffalo, even though it was a close game, Buffalo really had no answers for what New England was doing. And it was the reverse today. The Patriots really couldn't force Buffalo to do anything that Buffalo didn't want to do. Buffalo went for it on fourth down with impunity because they felt like there's no price to pay against the Patriots. They can't do to us what we can do to them. And that was clear, Tom, with the dynamic, I want to emphasize that word, dynamic play of Josh Allen. He did it with his legs. He did it with his arm. He really controlled the game, made some clutch throws. And that's why Buffalo is in this strong position right now.
I don't think people are going to want to hear this, but this is the way I feel about this game. And I think if you objectively look at it, the Bills are further along on the arc of their development as an elite team than the Patriots are on theirs. I understand the Patriots' background and history, but the Bills have been 5 years in this program with Josh Allen for the lion's share of it. They have a $258 million quarterback, and he showed you why he's that kind of quarterback today. The Bills were 6 for 12 on third down. They were also 3 for 4 on fourth down. So like Michael said, if we don't get it on third, when we have a guy who can break you down possibly on third down, even if you give us nothing, we're going to go for it again on fourth because we don't think you can stop us on four downs. They never punted all day. When you look at Josh Allen's numbers, Amina, 30 for 47 for 314 and 3 touchdowns. Also 12 for 64 on the ground. They put the ball in his hands. Mm-hmm. The Patriots put the ball in his hands and said, you go ahead, beat us. We're not going to rush you. We understand what talents you have. Try and beat us. And he found ways. Sometimes it took till third down. Sometimes it took till fourth down. But he did.
Yeah, let's bring in Matt Castle right now. And Matt, this Bills team really came into Gillette Stadium with a vengeance against the Patriots. What did you take away after watching this one?
Well, in the pregame show, we talked about, would you rather have a Super Bowl, a Superman type quarterback or a balanced offense? And this was a clear indication of why I took the Superman that can go out and do everything. Josh Allen was phenomenal today. Every time they needed a big play, and you even look at the last series, look, it's 4th and 1. They just got stuffed on the QB sneak. They put the ball right back in his hands on the QB boot and the QB keeper. He goes and makes the first down yardage. Then it's 3rd and long. I believe it was 3rd and 10, and he gets flushed to his left. He does a chest pass single-handedly out to Stephon Diggs, who's able to pick up the first down, extend the drive, and go down and put a score on at the end of the game. So again, this game was about Josh Allen. The defense, they tried to contain him. They tried to do anything that they could, but the fact of the matter is he's just a special player, and he made big play after big play all game long. Here's the 3rd and 10 play where he's flushed out to his left, finds Stephon Diggs for a huge first down play. Again, he was phenomenal. Out of the 7 possessions in which, and I'm not counting the end of the half and the end of the game, look, they scored on 6 out of those 7 possessions. The one possession that they stopped them was at the goal line on a 4th and goal stop right there. But other than that, they scored on every single possession. They were aggressive, and it was a big part of it was because of Josh Allen.
And on the flip side, when you look at these two quarterbacks, and I'm not saying that you have in Mac Jones a player who will never be better than he is right now. I don't know if he'll ever become transcendent where he could take over a game in the same way, arms and legs. But the Patriots were 1 for 10 on third down. There was no Hunter Henry, Kendrick Bourne, or Jonnu Smith through the first 3 quarters. They finished with 288 yards. The Patriots actually went for it, I believe, on fourth down 6 times. They tried to do the same thing. They understood how business was being done. They couldn't do it. Why, Michael, were they so laborious on offense?
Well, I think part of it is we got to call it out. We've given a lot of credit to Mac Jones this year. He's made some great throws and had some good games, some really terrific games. I think today was not a great game from Mac Jones. I've seen him worse. 3 interceptions against New Orleans. I thought he was shaky at times against the Colts, but start to finish here, Mac Jones, for whatever reason, maybe it was the Bills defense or just being off on some of his passes here in December, but not a great game from Mac Jones. Another thing I want to point out is that when the Patriots didn't have a lot of opportunities, but the opportunities that they did have, they squandered. Now, the ball was in J.C. Jackson's hands 2 times. One, I thought would have been a really difficult interception in the end zone. Stephon Diggs was looking for a pass interception right here, and he missed it. But the other one was right into his hands, and at that point, it's a 5-point game. You've got to come up with that. Another time, down the field, late hit on Mac Jones. David Andrews, stay out of that. Stay away from it. Late hit on your quarterback, you get a flag, you advance it. But instead, it's offsetting penalties. Another time, Trent Brown jumping up and down, gets a taunting penalty. There weren't a lot of opportunities here, but the opportunities that the Patriots had, they didn't really take advantage of them.
Bring it back to David Andrews. The Patriots ultimately score on the drive with a Damian Harris run. But for David Andrews to be a captain of the team, to run down after there was clearly going to be a 15-yard or at least whatever, half the distance penalty walked off against the Buffalo Bills and get into the face of a Buffalo Bills defender, Matt Milano, is bizarre. You're the team captain. You understand this isn't the NHL. You understand how business is being done. You're playing for the divisional title, and you're going to do this. I don't understand. That's not just putting your hand on his chest and moving him away. That's belly bucking and being in his face mask. And David Andrews is smarter than that. He's been around longer than that, and they put more responsibility and trust in him. It's that, it's Barmore, it's Harry, it's a lot of Mina.
And how much of that, though, has to do with, the fact that this rivalry between the Bills and the Patriots is starting to get ratcheted up every time.
Glad you asked that question, because the way the Patriots have profited, whether it's the Steelers or the Ravens or the Jets or the Bills, somebody wants to take it next level and try in a hard ass and belly up to people and show how tough they are. The Patriots put their hands behind their back and say, enjoy the 15-yard penalty. And that's the Patriots descending to the level of stupidity that they don't really usually play in.
Yeah, and
I'll say this, though. I thought it was I was going to say, I thought that was a ticky-tacky call. Look, in the NFL, that's what happens. Offensive linemen, when you see your quarterback gets hit, that's what you want to see. You want to see him rally to the quarterback. And I don't think that it was so physical and he knocked him to the ground, all that. He got in his face and
but you know it's going to happen. Why be near? You shouldn't even be on the envelope, never mind near the edge of it. You're trying to win the friggin' division.
I understand
you're
what you're saying.
Down. I don't like making.
I understand what you're saying. I just thought it was ticky-tacky, the whole call itself.
Well, no, you should get mad. You should get mad. I mean, I don't like the taunting penalties in the first. I don't like. But I don't like the rule. But we got to live with the rule.
I don't like the rule either.
I hate it. I hate it. So you're telling me that I can't get emotional during this game? In some ways, the NFL profits off of emotional players, highlight reels, all that stuff. But then when it goes too far, we got to control the game, and so we won't let emotion take over. But this is the one thing.
Michael, you know that you can be as emotional as you want to. Just don't hit nipples. He had to hit the guy 3 times.
Sometimes you got to hit nipples. Anyway, but that's it.
Sometimes you got to give him a little nipple bump.
but anyway, this is what I do want to talk about. They need to hit the nipples more of Josh Allen today. If you look at Josh Allen's last 2 games at Gillette Stadium, it's almost like he has taken over the place. Defensively, we've talked about the Patriots. This is what they're built on. They're built on a strong running game and strong defense. The running game was there at times today. Defensively, they had nothing for them. They really didn't. So at the end of last year, when Buffalo was on its way to 13 wins in the division title, you said, okay, the Patriots don't have enough, a 7-win team versus a 13-win team. This game, you thought you really had a fighting chance. And I got to tell you, they looked the same to me against Josh Allen in 2021. In December of 21, they did in December of 2020. So I thought it was just a poor job defensively throughout.
Yeah, and you talk about defense, and the one thing that really bothered me was the missed opportunities by J.C. Jackson. Those 2 interceptions that could have been interceptions for him, because you see him out there all season long, and those are picks that he would typically catch. And in this game, when there's so much on the line, Holly, you would think that he would make that play, and that changes the momentum for this matchup.
We talked about him in pregame. Is he too nice? Is he too good to... is he going to be outplaying any kind of contract the Patriots will offer to him? Now, he's had a good week so far. Start of the week, named to the Pro Bowl. He's got 7 interceptions. He could have come away with 9 today, or at least 8. That one, I mean, this one here is just a really big miss at that point in the game, because it felt like, and we talked about it at halftime, Amina, Tom, and Castle, really felt like they needed a turnover to win this game because it looked like they were able to go offense, back and forth for Buffalo. They needed something dramatic, and it was just a missed opportunity.
It's wild, too, because the Bills were controlling that game, and you look up and you say, there's still only 5 down, and you had an opportunity to make a pick. I mean, the Bills right now, had J.C. Jackson come up with the pick, and the Patriots punched that in on some Kendrick Bourne, corner route, the Bills would be inconsolable because as I look at my Twitter feed, we have Bills players coming off the field right now, joined with Patriots fans, and looking for where Jerry Sullivan formerly of the Buffalo News is. Where's Jerry Sullivan at? What's he got to say now? Sullivan, of course, was the Bills reporter who last time
embarrassed?
Asked if the Bills were embarrassed. So they put everything into this. This was their Super Bowl for now, and they were very emotionally invested in this. And do you think that this takes away the solace and reinserts them as the dominant team in the AFC East?
Well, you know what? I think, isn't this clear, though? We probably overreacted, not we, meaning I, overreacted to Week 13. Hey, Patriots win, this division is theirs. And then today, Josh Poyer and Micah Hyde are overreacting to a game at Gillette Stadium where they just tie the division. Now they're tied atop the division. And so who knows what's going to happen these last 3 games. Now for Buffalo, they feel like, hey, we got Atlanta, we got the Jets at home. We should be in pretty good shape these last 2 games, let's just say. But you don't know. Maybe we're overreacting. This doesn't really tell you anything. It tells you that the Patriots and Bills split their 2 games. They're 9-6 after 15 weeks. Who knows what's going to happen? The Patriots still might win this division. We don't know.